This NFC West preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
This is Brian Bosworth, aka The Boz, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother. Peace out. Boz out.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. It's just all about the West tonight. Beautiful
West
California.
Coast.
West Side.
Yeah.
I got my West Side shades on over here.
Oh, your lab goggles for when we go in the lab with Rhythm, right? I like it.
Or whatever they cook out there in Bakersfield.
It was great watching the New Mexico football game because there was a lot of like, hey, Albuquerque, the Lobos, and then they like would spell it out in that Breaking Bad font, and like they really. My sister lives out in Albuquerque. It's a fun town, but it is
just lean into the drug culture.
It is funny. They lean into, hey, remember us from that meth cooking show? That's our town. And we have green chili. That's pretty much Albuquerque in a nutshell.
Love green chili.
High elevation football, which I'm kicking myself. Ryan, you know, high elevation home dogs is my angle.
Oh my God.
And yet Colby, the SMU, they're getting all this money, high powered offense. They looked really badly coached, but of course, Georgia Tech money line. That was what carried the day, Ryan.
It was fabulous.
It was awesome.
Big number.
I remember you hit a good win when I was cashing in the ticket at the sports book. And the guy goes, "Nice," and he goes, "You putting anything else in?" I go, "Not right now." He goes, "Take it and run." I like it.
Yeah, I mean, we're basically friends with all those guys. You know?
Oh yeah, shout out to
neighbors on the block.
Yes. Great sportsbook writers over there at Circa. Yeah, we had an awesome weekend there, and back in it, closing it out, final stretch, last 2 weeks before kickoff. Kramer, what is your biggest swing? Because we were doing the 32 division or 32 team previews. Obviously, check those out. Play along with the phrase that pays. We were doing the live drawing on the NFL Week 1 Picks podcast, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/phrase. If you haven't sent in your submission yet, still time. You have up until we start taping the episode, and that includes for people who mailed in their entry. I will check the mailbox right before the episode. Make sure you get loaded in, and you got that chance at the $500 NFL ticket. But Kramer, what's your biggest since we? And we started a little while back, so maybe some preseason, some injuries. What has been your biggest change of opinion, or maybe even you reiterating, like I kept saying this and now I'm right? What's been the biggest opinion update since the team previews?
I mean, I think specifically in this division, it's the like, okay, Brock Purdy. Do we have to start sounding the alarms in San Francisco?
Brock Purdy looked so bad in the preseason, and
I don't want to say my opinion was changed, but I mean, I came in at 10-7. I'm a little concerned between the injury with the not serious, the totally not serious calf injury for Christian McCaffrey.
Yes,
the hold out, the hold in.
Well, and that was
Brock Purdy looking like a dumpster fire. Sorry, Katie.
Yeah, and Katie was even on the Ayuk deal. She was pointing out that a lot of these guys who hold out, who miss camp, come in and they're cold. They're either not in fully shape, they're distracted. It's tough to hit the ground running, and that's why I lived it last year. Like, it is so hard to have your team lose the Super Bowl and then come back, even winning the Super Bowl, unless you're the Chiefs and you're like a legit dynasty where you're going to win back to back multiple Super Bowls. It's tough that year, especially after you get to the Super Bowl and don't win it. The letdown factor, the everyone trying to get paid. The injuries.
Kyle Juszczyk being a distraction after catching the first pass in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, people are like, "Why did I get the first pass in the Super Bowl?"
Look at this thing; it's beautiful. I'll never forget this Super Bowl. Anyway, yeah, I would say that I certainly have reason to be concerned about the Niners if I'm a Niners fan. I also, as I would kind of alluded to, Sean, in the AFC West preview, I kind of drop the glasses and look at this Seattle offense. Rarely does the preseason change me a ton, but there's some aggression going on there that if it to me, if it works, it could be very interesting.
Yeah, I'm just kind of skeptical of Mike McDonald. To me, he strikes me as more of a coordinator instead of a head coach. But like, if they have that match where the OC is really cooking, found his spot, he's taking care of the offense. Mike McDonald has the defense going. I guess to me, it's like Geno Smith still sucks. What is to me, that's the biggest issue. And I think Sam Howell is an interesting project. If I was the Commanders, I would have not gotten rid of a guy who at least looked competent in NFL games, and you had him on a rookie contract. But that being said, to me, it's Geno Smith is where I really struggled to move things around. Ryan, when we did the Arizona Cardinals team preview, their win total 6.5. I had them 9-8. You have them 11-6. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do any adjusting here. I could maybe see knocking down a win.
Can I get some update music?
Sure.
You have 3 wins to give away.
Yes.
Or get rid of.
Yes.
So you're considering doing that here?
I am considering.
I would say that nothing has really changed my opinion on the Cardinals. I did have a lukewarm session playing the NFL
that
slot.
Scared
with the
me
Cardinals,
off, Ryan.
But also,
that was a slot.
I sense a certain level of optimism around what this offense might be this year, and from a wins and losses standpoint, yeah, the defense still is a bit of a question mark, but I trust it enough. And so they're strangely a team that I've almost taken nothing away from the preseason on. The Cardinals. Yeah,
they're playing it pretty close to the vest.
Other than Trey Benson not completely in the doghouse and whatever was going on early in camp, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
he played his way through. He looked all right on the field. So it's like whatever was going on.
Yeah.
Could be a Kendre Miller situation where he's just really stupid or something, and just like the coaches, he just can't. Kadarius Toney situation, but yeah, I mean, to me, this Cardinals team is still being like the ceiling for this team is still very high. If you do nothing more than just pull up how they did last year to close the season, they just strike me as a team that are crescendoing. They only improve their roster hand over. I was going to say hand over fist. Is that I think that's the paper beats rock, right? They really improved their roster. And again, like the questions become, is the defense going to be another complete dumpster fire? And I have a hard time believing that, considering that, even if it was just for periods of the game and it didn't materialize full scale in terms of how their numbers look. I do think the Cardinals have a chance to elevate and win some games. They have offensive talent. Like, again, compare their rosters to some of the other rosters.
Now Ryan, you had them going 11-6. You got Kyler Murray, MVP, long shot, division 13-1.
Great price.
The more I think about it, this is a 4-13 team. Don't you think if you're as high on the Cardinals as you should be, shouldn't you also be including Jonathan Gannon, Coach of the Year?
Great point, because what's
his price?
I was going through my digital inventory of futures as I was trying to merge the analog and the digital, and I did find a Gannon ticket on the pile. Let's see what his price is today, because I do.
Yeah, I'm looking back at what we gave out, and I noticed you didn't have that there.
I don't. I had. We discussed it
because that would have been that's a 7-win increase.
17-1.
Yeah.
So I know when we discussed it in the off season in the futures episode, when we covered that market, we definitely brought it up. And yeah, I think I'm pulling up the digital receipt to see what the price I got, Sean, but it's certain, like, to your, the win differential is the biggest element.
Yeah,
he certainly has a very,
even if they go 10-7, that's a 6-win increase year over year. I think
he's certainly in the mix if they win the division. They like the price.
Sorry, I'm.
What
there was like some red marks on your forehead that was left from the $2 lab goggles, ironically safety goggles.
I was feeling a little constricted. That's why I took it off.
But I had him 9-8, 10-7, 11-6 in that range. I think he's going to be in the mix. If they make the playoffs from a 4-13 team, Ryan, the more I think about it, we might want to toss in coach of the year.
Yeah, I think it's let's see, I'm trying to find the ticket. I definitely think he's in the mix because, like, all right, here we go. Yeah, all right, 20-1. Okay. So it's only come down slightly from, and this was let's see. No, this wasn't. Oh my goodness. February 25th.
Oh my God.
Well, that's why we have the hopefully we're on Patreon. You have all our archived sheets.
I have a feeling this was shortly after we did it. We hosted Follow the Money. I feel like we did a coach of the year segment where we were looking at.
Well, and it was probably you going nuts, hitting like a hand pay on the slot machine. You're like, it's all coming to me.
So
what is your best bet? I guess I'm going to keep it simple and just say Cardinals over 6.5 wins. It's not as exciting or crazy, but I'm just not quite as ceiling case as you are, Ryan.
Okay. So if the best bet, this is one of the win totals I have. I certainly think the best bet is them to win 7 games.
Yeah.
But
is that what you're giving out?
If I was gonna, no, you know what? Throw the Kyler Murray passing yard prop in there.
Oh, the division one?
Yeah.
Because the division, what? Yeah, actually
8-1.
All right. Murray, most passing yards, AFC West. That actually I really like. NFC West.
The offense was looking good already, and now he's got more time.
This is a fun way to fade Brock Purdy, Geno Smith.
But also you're kind of logically betting on the Cardinals because the chances that their defense still isn't great is likely.
Yeah,
and that would only lead to more opportunities for Kyler, assuming he's locked in. And it does seem like he's put down the old joysticks, and Call of Duty no longer his priority. Very excited. I will say, we were working it out with the bet detective himself.
Oh, he has a lot of cases on his desk, right?
And we did find our way to saying that the Kyler MVP case is actually much more compelling than your typical 4-13 team. They're the pedigree's there. The number,
and they won. They only won 4 games. 3 were against playoff teams. Like they had a certain mojo where they got up for good teams.
I'm in on Kyler and Will Levis this year, Sean.
What could go wrong?
Possibly go wrong.
Hey,
worth noting the Darius Robinson Defensive Rookie of the Year price. It was as much as 35-40 to 1 has come down or went down to.
Should I get the moving shirts out?
Went down to
moving it.
Went down to 20 to 1, and I think it's actually gone back up a bit. So I think that angle still exists. I just wanted to call that out because we like the Robinson brothers.
Ryan, you know what else we like? Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code SGPN. Sign up. Get the $1,000 deposit bonus. This is a time. It's the NFL season's about to kick off. They got college, higher, lower. I think Colby may have. DJU didn't get 2 passing touchdowns, right, Ryan? Yeah, come on. That was my best take of week 0 college football was big stinko. Very easy. Underdogfantasy.com promo code SGPN. Get the get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're going to be giving out our favorite NFC West play. One entry from each team. Kyler Murray, Ryan, 3474.5 passing yards. That feels pretty doable. We got Trey McBride stuff. We got Trey Benson stuff. Michael Wilson, James Conner, who just like the Terminator won't go away. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Get that $1,000 in bonus cash.
I mean, but I do think if you're gonna play, you have to sprinkle some ceiling case for the Cardinals, right?
Me? I get it. I get it. I'm just not as I'm optimistic, not as optimistic as you are though, Ryan.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna slot machine was talking to you. Gannon being a decent head coach, they seem to get something out of him.
That's the area.
Defense, I think they can play some defense.
I feel like that's the area we're going to be wrong.
I'm still just not completely in on Kyler. I think is some of my hesitation. If we're being honest,
he was changing my mind at the end of last year.
No, and certainly he fits the mold of a guy who was super high drafted talent, maybe never perfect situation. You drop in Maserati Marv in there, and I see it. I'm just like a hair skeptical, not crazy skeptical.
Not Gus Johnson's finest work.
He really crowbarred in the Maserati Marv.
Crowbar. He broke all the windows and just dumped. He flooded your car with it after he stole the CD player.
Slope side saying Marv is way better than people think. Well, I think people are pretty high on Marvin Harrison. So, I
much like Malik Neighbors, you drop a talent like that into an offense, it changes everything. You already have Trey McBride. We've seen what Dortch and Michael Wilson and some of these other pieces, Connor. I mean,
Zay Jones is out now for. Was he ever going to be in the mix? Probably not.
I think so.
Okay, because he's out the first 5 games.
I think they probably knew that.
Yeah. I was gonna say one more Cardinals nugget that Marvin Harrison Jr. Somehow his dad's also involved, and they said part of this Fanatics lawsuit with the jerseys and stuff
It's still going on.
There was a signature shell game being played by the Harrisons, according to court documents. I'm putting the bet detective on it, right? We got something's a little fishy down there.
I think Marvin Harrison's probably telling the truth.
Hey, I don't want to.
We don't question Marvin Harrison.
I'm not gonna suggest the audience start Googling Marvin Harrison in court cases.
Hypothetical.
I would not do
gun
that.
to your head. Marvin Harrison's got an antique gun to your head. do you?
I do whatever Marvin Harrison would ask you to do.
Marvin Harrison Senior and Junior. I think he's a upstanding citizen. I just picture like just some old revolver. Click, click, click. What do you think they were doing? I don't understand because I thought the lawsuit was about him not him agreeing to do the jerseys, but then not signing the NFLPA thing. Yeah. Okay.
Signature shell game. I didn't read it, but do your own research.
I hope you're not selling red jerseys that aren't officially Cardinals jerseys like Tommy DeVito was. Because by the way, Sean, I have uncovered that lots of people do this.
It kind of makes sense.
That's wild,
and it's so annoying.
It's so diabolical.
All right, let's talk Rams, Ryan. 8.5 was their win total. 9 and 8.
Seahawks or Rams?
I was going in the order on the sheet, but
interesting. You're right.
Rams 8.5. I had them going 9 and 8 over. You had 6 and 11 under. I went over after walking through it. They were one of the tougher teams for me to nail in the team preview because I do think they're fragile, right? Things could go wrong, but now they have this rookie receiver from the 6th round. People are calling him the next Puka Nacua. Puka was a little banged up. Sounds like he's going to be good to go week 1. Where are you at? Have you changed your opinion at all? 6 and 11, pretty low for the Rams. I get it though. They're hitting a wall. They don't have Aaron Donald. Certainly tough to project them. Awesome, but I think they could get to 9 and 8 again. Like this feels about right for them.
Jordan Whittington. I think you got to have some ability to believe that they can like nail a second draft in a row. Because part of what allowed last year to happen, they nailed a draft.
Well, and part of the reason why I'm not completely out and have them at 6 and 11, which if Stafford gets hurt and Stetson Bennett's out there, I would love to be on the under. But Stafford dealing with the hamstring,
he's not the backup, right?
He might.
Like no. That can't be. No.
No.
There's no chance Stetson Bennett's the actual backup quarterback. Is that they only have 2 quarterbacks on the roster? Matt Stafford and Stetson Bennett. Oh my God.
See, I'm not crazy.
That's their plan.
And that's why.
Whoa, sell.
That's why I see the case for the under. To me, they did nail the draft last year. I like what they did in this draft this year. I think Sean McVay, as much as I've made fun of his, using hair gel in 2024, he's a sharp coach.
Is that not cool anymore?
He's a sharp coach, and I think those rookies that played really well last year, your Kobe Turners, who isn't playing next to Aaron Donald, but Kobe Turner, Puka Nacua, like these guys improving a little bit and making a nice jump in the second year. I mean, they were close to having the offensive and defensive rookie of the year last year. Now,
True.
I think them having a little more seasoning and playing well, them getting a 9 and 8 seems reasonable.
What the fuck's going on? Did you just compliment Sean McVay?
I think he's a decent coach. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So I would say the pushback would come at we have questions about the offensive line.
The offensive line, and I see people in the chat talking about the injuries. They might be out 2 guys week 1.
They clearly are attempting to become more of a running team here, in my opinion. And if that,
Blake Corum's an interesting pick. Kyron Williams doing well, and there's a version where this works.
Then the offense may be fine if they can keep Stafford upright.
Yeah,
they might be just fine. But the defense is a lot harder to be. They'll just keep moving on without the greatest defensive player or one of the greatest defensive players over the last 15 years.
Yeah,
playing a position that changes defenses. Playing a position,
you got a scheme for him.
That
you are the interior pressure. Yeah,
it's just you bring in 2 former FSU teammates in Fisk and Verse.
I like that though.
Sure, maybe, but you don't have Aaron Donald anymore, and so we talked about the fragility of the defense last year. Only Aaron Donald was drafted higher than the 2nd round last year, so they brought in some reinforcements now, but still that. There is still a bit of truth there that it's a very shallow unit. There are some, and the studs now are even just young guys who you're relying a lot on, which again, easy way to create a crater. So yeah, I think and you lost Raheem Morris, the defensive coordinator. If you think that's a positive, potentially, yeah, I don't know. I just think we didn't get it last year.
And Alaric Jackson, their starting left tackle, is out first 2 games, which I'm
sure that won't matter.
That could matter week 1 against Hutchinson and the Lions.
I mean, anyone who's on the Rams week 1 is not paying attention. But yeah, no, I just think we discussed this for this team preview last year. The Rams have a low ceiling or a low floor, and they have a decent ceiling, but there's a lot of stars and a lot of scrubs. And when you do that, it just takes a couple of critical injuries. They lost one of those stars in Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
And so you're relying on guys who have never played in the league before to get it done on the defensive side of the ball, or this team's going to be trash. And if they have to play in shootouts every week, this idea of being a little bit more of a power running game, and then also needing to keep Stafford upright if the offensive line isn't going to be able to do that, the floor is very, very low. And actually, that's the thing I would say is I'm not going to change their prediction, but I actually think their floor is like fewest wins in the league. McVay kicks off a rebuild with a nice quarterback pick.
Okay. Yeah, I think the fact that Sean McVay had a bunch of opportunities to get paid, do TV, soup execs calling his name, and then he said, "No, I like this team. I'm going to go back and coach them up."
Of course. How many times, Sean, have you left Vegas after some hot runs at the table? Where you're like, I'm the man. Can't lose money at the tables. They just hit it right. They got all the draft picks right. Everyone stayed healthy. Last year was a pretty good year. Like last year, you could say was almost the optimal case for what this Rams team could be.
Yeah,
they had the fewest games lost to injury, Sean. The fewest. And so again,
so Sean McVay 70-45 as a head coach, 9-8, hanging around the playoffs, maybe not get in. I think a small sprinkle on the upside to me is the fun way to play them, because I'm with you. It could be ceiling. It could be. I don't think this. To me, the floor isn't as low as you're describing. But I'll play Cooper Kupp, Offensive Player of the Year, 60-1.
Whew. I would say that I'm willing to say the Rams have maybe the highest range in the NFL.
Okay.
In terms of wins and losses.
I don't know if I'm trying to think who else would.
Because I'm with you. I think if they stay healthy again, why aren't they what they were last year?
Yeah.
I guess because Aaron Donald's not there.
Yeah, but
maybe it doesn't matter because the offense can score enough.
But yeah, I mean, look at that, like them going on the road and almost beating the Ravens
with Aaron Donald.
Yeah, but also,
I'm just saying, it's like fucking Lawrence Taylor leaving the Giants defense.
No,
it mattered.
I agree. What's your favorite play?
Have you seen the exact place markets? The division exact. I've yet to find them anywhere. I really wanted to give out Rams 4th place for that ceiling case we talked about.
Floor.
Floor. The ceiling is the floor, Sean. But because I think the only places that I've heard of these being listed are at the shadowy offshores. But I have not seen a price. So if they exist, please hit me up. I want to get down on it. But 8.5 wins. Again, I'll stick to a win total. Or if you want to keep it even simpler, no, you know what? I'm not going to go Rams start 0-5 plus 950. I already have some action on that. Give me under 8.5 wins.
Rams under 8.5. All right.
I do. So one thing that I think, where are we at with Kyron versus Blake Corum?
I don't know. It's interesting. It's something that was on my radar to keep an eye on for the fantasy stuff, and I feel like I haven't seen a ton of news related to it. What's the latest you've heard?
I mean, I think it's I think we're looking at a situation like if I was a betting man, I would bet on the fact that Blake Corum is getting the bulk of the work at the end of the year. I don't know what exactly is going on, but it strikes me as a situation I've been staying away from in fantasy.
Yeah. I mean, because again,
if they're offering Kyron Williams numbers, that's going to be the under. We'll fade that in underdog.
So he was back on the field.
I don't care.
And he's showed no lingering effects from his OTA foot injury during the Rams offseason. So that is positive.
Yeah, but these foot injury, to me, I'm already going to propose the Kyron Williams lower 975.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, the fact that they drafted Corum kind of gives you a possible red flag for Kyron. Moving over to the Seattle Seahawks, win total 7.5. I'm on the under 6-11. You're on the under 6-11. You know what, Ryan?
What?
Knock them down to 5-12.
Really?
Knock them down.
Is this
Spite?
Yeah. Is it because people are on this? They're a lot of people are very positive.
Love the Seattle Seahawks. They're all the sharps are on them, Ryan.
So is this purely a Geno hate, and the backup is Sam Howell?
Yeah. I mean, I think quarterback could be
handicap.
Yeah, I mean, when you have Michael Penix and you're playing in that spread with Washington, you have a massive talent advantage. It's a little bit easier to run that offense. I like JSN, I like DK Metcalf, but man,
Lockett's got this mysterious leg injury.
Yep.
Which maybe he plays week 1. We see this every year where there's one of these where it's just he's completely fine, but he's a vet, so they're just letting him rest.
Certainly.
My concern here is that like I said, I think the offense has intrigued me because they're going to be aggressive. I don't know if that helps them though. And this is another team that my favorite play is their point total. It's still sitting at 399.5. As much as I do, it just seems like a defensive head coach. They're going to play a certain brand of football. That's the part where I've kind of walked back a little bit. Was like, all right, well they actually are looking like they're going to play aggressive ball. But Sean, they have to increase their point total 40 points from last year. So you do a little bit of math. That's 3 points per game. That's a pretty big jump up, considering you have relative newcomers at the play calling positions, at least on the offensive side. So, and I didn't even say Geno maybe past his prime.
Where was his prime?
When he ended Eli's consecutive start record.
I don't know, 8-7 last year. I mean, I don't know, man. I get his yards per attempt are okay. It's just maybe it's just an eye test. Only 20 passing touchdowns and 15 starts. That to me is just not going to get it done. I think he's. I don't even know if I like him for most interceptions because I think
No, I'm not kidding. I would play. The fact that Circa had the Sam Howell, I'm now regretful I didn't take it. But Sam Howell
was
have
it?
150 to 1.
yeah.
It's just gonna take like one little. I mean, look, Gino taking the shots. He's definitely. I feel like there's definitely gonna be some turnovers for this team. But yeah, I think taking the point total under, probably taking the Gino. I know we talked about the Gino touchdowns as far as
Yeah, that's a fun way to
one.
fade him as well.
I mean, he didn't.
Well, and also to your point, Ryan, like if Seattle's good, it's probably because Mike McDonald is coaching up a very good defense. Defense is better talent wise than I gave them credit for.
Have you dug into why the see? I think this is another one where you have to dive in a little bit deeper to figure out why the smart people are on Seattle, and I think it's a very simple thing. What did the spreadsheet nerds hate? Pete Carroll.
Yes.
So any coach was going to get a massive bump from the nerds because fuck Pete Carroll, this football guy. He's not good. Look how inefficient his stuff is. Run the ball. Come on. But there was a certain maximizing of a locker room that Pete Carroll had.
Also was 170, 120 and 1. If you look at just his Seattle time, 137, 89 and 1. And he ended his last 2 seasons 9 and 8. I thought that was like he got the most out of that team at 9 and 8.
And the number one thing that you hear anyone that played for Pete Carroll talk about, is the energy, is the stuff that you get it. If you can resonate in a pro locker room with your energy and getting guys to give out more and bring that like team level up from the collection of the parts, again that counts. And the nerds don't like it because they don't know how to calculate it. They don't know how to calculate team chemistry. So yeah, we really like you put an asterisk next to Carolina because they hired a smart guy, and Seattle because they replaced the guy the smart guys hate.
Yeah,
auto bumps.
Justin Wales, cool YouTube handle checking in saying JSN was very underutilized last year with Lockett hurt. I like JSN over everything this year. Yeah, I mean he's a fun prospect for sure.
Well, we remember that clip from Brian Hartline, a wide receivers coach at Ohio State, talking about how basically JSN was like a top shelf, a guy who's come through Ohio State. And you think about the guys who have come through Ohio State, a pretty impressive company. And yeah, I do think that's the part of it. It's like when you watch DK Metcalf do good things, it's like, damn, how do I go against this guy? But the reality is he's often just running straight down the field, not doing good things. And Gino, the idea of Gino not being able to get to the ball to these receivers seems likely.
Yeah. So basically, I'm out on Gino under 399.5 points. Favorite play for me, and under 399.5 for Ryan as well. Ryan, I'm pulling up rhythm.
Are we cooking?
Right? Yeah. Get the lab goggles on. We're talking a little rhythm here. Oh, look at this, Ryan. Rhythm.
I don't want to accidentally be blind because we
Rhythm AI. You think they're not talking Young Sound State Villanova? Wrong. They love Villanova. Laying the number here. Thought they have a good chance of getting the 7.5, and they think Villanova is going to win by 9.1. They got it 65.5% win probability. So get down over on that and build your own college football model. It is really fun to tinker around in the lab, deciding what variables, if it's passing yards, if it's rushing, defense, whatever you value in your handicap, and put it in the model. They'll build you a model. Ryan, I see you firing on all cylinders over there. We gotta get like a Bunsen burner sound effect, maybe some like mixing. Please send us in a lab sound effect, whatever you think like a lab sounds like. We need to get that cooking when we talk rhythm here.
We quick update.
Yes,
the all gas model really likes. Wow, they have Patriots plus 3.5. So week 1 versus the Bengals.
Yes, sir.
Well, Ryan, that'll be
might
awesome.
as well take fade the Bengals.
Everyone is going to be on the Bengals. I don't think I'm going to be on the Bengals. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Get your free 7-day trial. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Has that number moved to 10 yet? We've
the
heard
Bengals Patriots number.
We heard intel that it was going to be moving to 10.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, were you not there for that?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Take me behind the counter. Ryan.
I was well, maybe I was telling CJ. When I went down to the counter, I was overhearing a conversation about that. That made me think that the number would be moving to 10.
Get the moving trucks out.
Let's see. Has it moved yet? I'm seeing some 9.5s out there, Sean. So here we go.
All right. 49ers win total 11.5. Love the under at 10-7. Kramer also on
how can you take the over?
Just every sort of preseason red flag you can have, the 49ers have had. Star player dealing with injury, contract holdouts. They got rid of their DC after he took them to the Super Bowl. And it wasn't like
that was kind of expected, right?
Yeah, but I mean, look at the Eagles after they got rid of their Super Bowl, defensive coordinator that got them to the Super Bowl. Like, I mean, really
be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. And I didn't like some of the stuff Gannon did and found him frustrating at times, but they also led the league in sacks. And I think there was some good stuff that Wilkes did. And it seems like they just promoted within, which, okay, there's two ways to look at it. One, all right, they have a strong system. They have good talent. You keep the same thing going, or it's a disaster. Like the Eagles offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, clearly not ready to be a coordinator yet. And he was a QB coach, got hurt to the Super Bowl. All right, just promote him to OC. And it was a disaster from a play calling thing. Clearly wasn't ready to be a coordinator. I don't know much about this defensive coordinator position coach. They gave the DC spot.
He played linebacker at Virginia Tech while I was there.
Oh, wow.
So got to see him play in person. But no, he's never called plays. He basically has been, a positional coach up until last year. And he didn't even have a title when he was first on the Niners staff. He was just an assistant. And so he was the pass game specialist and nickels coach. Like Shanahan really has some liberty with his coach titles out there. I mean, look, they collect these comp picks for it, but yeah, so you have to question, what is this defense going to look like? In some ways, weren't they critical of Wilkes and his play calling abilities? Wasn't that one of the things they were upset with him about? It wasn't the stuff during the week. It was the stuff on game day that they had issue with. And so I wonder if that will change here. But certainly you would have to question it. We've kind of ridiculed a lot of teams who have coordinators in first time situations, especially when that involves the first time you're calling plays.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot of reason, a lot like the classic letdown season is just brewing for this 49ers team, including Christian McCaffrey. If you've just turning into our football shows this season, Christian McCaffrey.
Break the news again. Maybe they're new. Maybe they're back for the first time.
Christian McCaffrey had 400 touches last season. He will not be healthy this season, and I already was kind of proven correct with this calf injury. They're like the high ankle sprain, and maybe it is a high ankle sprain. You never know if it's calf, high ankle. They're pretty close. What if they're saying he's all right? And then I don't. To me, the best way to fade this team is under Christian McCaffrey rushing yards, 1175.5 rushing yards. To me, that's just like a perfect scenario, and I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, if the 49ers are good, they're making a playoff run, they're gonna want to save Christian McCaffrey. Like you just can't have 400 touches, play all those. Look at how many catches he had in the playoffs. Like that shit adds up. And we just haven't seen someone have 400 touches and then be healthy the entire season. And 1175.5 is a really high rushing total for a guy who they might be easing off a little bit in the running game, right?
I mean, why you want to keep him fresh?
Yeah.
So whatever that means to you. So
I mean, look at the last. Yes, he got there last year because he had an insane amount of touches and a very efficient, perfect season, career year 1459. That's when you want to fade these guys. Year before 1139, and that was with two teams, but he did play 17 games. And then year before 2021, only 442 yards. Year before that, 225. He did have it in 2019, 1387, but then 2018, only 1,098. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're, keep him involved in the passing game and maybe use some of his touches there. It's just asking way too much.
Yeah, I was actually I did not know this. So he actually played quarterback at Tech before changing positions to linebacker and safety.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Slopeside saying Purdy, most interceptions, good value. I mean,
Yes, sir.
I'm in on that.
Poor Purdy getting first his brother gets hurt and now
Well, Nevada almost pulled that upset out. That would have been
imagine
crazy.
if they had him.
Yeah.
That backup quarterback's not good though.
No. It was amazing they hung around that game. Kramer, what are you doing here? You got them 10-7. What is your favorite play for the 49ers?
I think I like the missed playoffs.
Okay. What's that? 2-1?
It was plus 330 when we did the episode a couple days ago. I can pull up a updated price.
Yeah.
2-1.
I like that as well.
That was good. Got me.
It was 2-1?
No, I thought you were being serious. I thought that was a serious guess. I said you got me. It was it was plus 330, like I said.
Okay. Plus 330, missed playoffs. Yeah, I mean, in my head it's plus 200, so getting good value there, Ryan.
That's good.
I just the ceiling case for the 49ers isn't there, and you heard it in Katie's voice.
Oh my god, you can find a plus 380 out there.
Really?
Oh my God.
All right, I'll update the sheet to plus
Jesus
380
Christ.
for you
Excuse
and the
me.
49ers.
Jesus has nothing to do with Brock Purdy.
Football Jesus, who looked really bad. Like he was playing against the Raiders backups and was not
What do you
looking
think it
dialed
is?
in.
What do you think it is? Think the shoulder's still recovering from that hit he took?
I mean, Shanahan gets the most out of certain guys, but maybe that was the most Purdy had.
I think we hit the end of Purdy.
I hope so, right?
When do they sign him? Hopefully they have to sign him first.
Oh, he's got. I mean, they got to pay him. They got to pay Ayuk. They got to pay Trent Williams.
Remember when they traded up for 3 first-round picks to get a guy who just threw 5 interceptions in a preseason?
Oh man,
game?
I was loving all the freezing cold takes of Trey Lance just resurfacing after his 5 interception game in the preseason.
That one guy in the fantasy community who has a hook in his name, who just types in all caps all the time. He was such a honk on Trey Lance. I mean, guys, you just because someone has athletic traits doesn't mean they can play fucking football. Every time they get these guys wrong. Kyle Pitts, Trey Lance played like what was the number? Like 130 snaps since high school. It just doesn't. Anyway,
Never added up, Ryan.
so what's when do you think are you making a specific McCaffrey when the injury will happen?
Well, I mean, I think we already saw it with the calf thing, and I think they'll try and play through it. To what degree? Like it's not going to be easy.
Will they have all their players week 1?
That's a good question.
All the holdouts, the hold-ins, the minor injuries that totally aren't big deals.
Mm. Yeah,
You think Ayuk's there? He
Ayuk
traveled
gets
with
traded.
the team.
I think. Well, he traveled with the team. All right.
Didn't dress.
What's his deal, man? It's really annoying.
I don't know, but it's funny because the fan base keeps getting pissed. They're like pissed at the team one day, they're pissed at Ayuk the next.
Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our league.
They said 49ers don't want me, Jaden. I want to come play with you. 49ers said that was our final offer. Oh wait, we got another final offer. But wait, you don't like the 4th year? What about this other final offer? One more offer, we swear.
I'll be honest. This is kind of like the Cowboy situation. Receiver contracts are easy.
Yeah.
Is he a guy or not? If he is, pay him. And oh, by the way, Juiced in Wales in the chat. Niners, Chargers, Cowboys missed the playoff parlay. Plus 1836.
Oh my God.
I do like that.
Let's get it.
I do like that.
That's the hater special.
Damn, I didn't do any missed playoff parlays. Might have to pick up a couple more numbers. Go down to the deli, see the deli llama.
All right, Ryan.
Yes. No. Let's do the underdog.
Underdog. Starting off first with your Arizona Cardinals. You would just keep it Murray related.
Dealer's choice. I think you can go McBride. I think you can go Murray.
I think Murray passing yards higher to me is like the simplest formula.
Okay.
If we're just leaning into being high on,
So 34, 74 and a half passing yards higher. I do think it's got the most paths to success.
okay, 34, 74 and a half passing yards.
I would love a total touchdowns Kyler number as well.
Yeah, break out the running versus the receive or
Just give me
running
both.
versus passing.
Give me both. All right, Rams.
This one could be a little tricky. Cooper Kupp, Matty Stafford, Blake Corum, Nakua, Kyron Williams.
So the other note on Kyron Williams that I think people are missing. He's a 5th round pick. Blake Corum's a 3rd round pick. Huh? Who is the team more invested in?
That's also true. But they
Kyron Williams, it was mostly touchdown efficiency that brought him all that fantasy glory.
Yeah. I mean, I think Cooper Kupp gets 1,000 yards. I understand why you might be scared of that, Ryan, but
I'm not scared of that.
okay.
But I also think that, I mean, Stafford interceptions. Thoughts?
How many is it?
It is 10.
Okay.
11.
Yeah.
Last year 11, 8, 17, 10, maybe not. Maybe
he's had a lot of years ending exactly 10.
No, let's go Cup. Cup gets 1,000 yards.
Cooper Kupp higher, 975 and a half receiving yards.
Receptions or receiving yards.
I like both, but if you have a preference, I'm open.
I feel like he was shredding. Let me pull up his game log from 2023 because I'm pretty sure he was. I mean, he had 59 receptions last year in 12 games, Sean.
Yeah. And so what's his 78 and a half? Yeah, he can get to 80.
Because even in 2022,
I mean,
when
if he plays 17 games, that's less than 5 a game.
Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe we just go yards.
All right, 975 and a half receiving yards for Kupp. What do you like for Seattle, Ryan?
I mean, and even the part that I liked about this team is getting muddy with Charbonnet missing all this time. Do we just fade Lockett and go against this weird leg situation?
Yeah, I like that.
Or do we fade Geno Smith with the passing touchdowns?
I mean, I like fading Geno.
Let's do the passing touchdowns. That feels much easier to
lower
get to.
22 and a half passing touchdowns.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. That's very easy. Geno Smith lower 22 and a half passing touchdowns. Last but not least, the San Francisco 49ers. I like fading McCaffrey, but you can talk me into a lot of these. How do you want to fade him? I just think lower rushing yards.
Rushing yards?
Yeah. But I mean, you could talk me into pretty lower passing touchdowns.
Do you think there's any way that I guess are there any of McCaffrey, because the rushing number he's gotten to before, the receiving it is worth noting the receiving touchdowns number. What are they dangling? 5.5, right?
Yep.
That's incredibly high. He's only gone over that twice in his career. Once was last year.
I like fading that too.
Maybe that's the way we fade it. I mean, he went over that in 2018 and last year. That's it.
Firing, Ryan.
There you go.
So officially, Kyler Murray higher 34, 74 and a half passing yards. Cooper Kupp higher 975 and a half receiving yards. Geno Smith lower 22 and a half passing touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey lower 5 and a half receiving touchdowns.
I will say too, if you're not a best ball guy, you're not firing off 150 entries. These season long projection situations are fun.
So good.
I have way too many of them now.
Well, I'm doing all these that we've given out. I've been firing on my own.
I mean,
cannot wait.
That's why I have too many.
Cannot wait till we get to some week 1 NFL higher lower fantasy picks. Sure, we're going to be getting into those on the props episodes, the NFL Week 1. It's just so much action, and we got college football really starting next week with Week 1 as well. Sure, we'll give out some college football higher lower pick'em because that's Underdog is great for that. Like if you haven't played around with the Underdog college stuff, there's I think you can really cash in
if the audience is nice. Maybe we'll do some college.
All right, and the audience is so nice, and I know they're all submitting their entries for the phrase that pays. Everyone wants that $500 circa NFL future dreams can come true. Although you might not want to put it on Will Levis most passing yards. That number has flown the coop. It was 66 to 1, and it's now
Sean,
someone put in a massive Will Levis bet. It did move to.
There's actually a timeline here because it was 70 to 1, maybe even more. We were at Bet Bash, talked about it out loud.
Well, that was they really moved it on DraftKings. It's down to like 30 to 1 on DraftKings.
That maybe moved it on DraftKings, but also we saw a slight move on Circa down to 66 to 1. So imagine. That was some nickel and dime action from these babies at Bet Bash, but not until the real men entered the arena.
Still 20 to 1, Ryan. 20 to 1, and Circa usually has the longest of these.
All right, I've moved a NASCAR future from 1,000 to 1 to 500 to 1 before, and I've moved college football futures from 500 to 1 to 400 to 1. I've never to move something from 66 to 1 to 20 to 1, Sean. Is this our greatest accomplishment?
That's stuff that people are actually betting too.
Oh, that's a live market.
Yeah, no, I'm saying compared to like NASCAR and.
So, all right, pull up the Circa odds. Who has better odds than Will Levis passing yard? I mean, imagine you're a regular person, you've never heard us speak, and you pull up the odds for most passing yards. You have to be like, what the hell? Yeah. I also feel like we influenced the Zamir. I mean, Zamir White being 10 to 1.
Will Levis is still 30 to 1 over on DraftKings, 20 to 1 over on
great value. I heard some people did reach out to let me know they were still able to secure a 71 or better at their local / other less notable offshores.
Yeah, so shop around.
Sleep at the wheel.
You might still be able to get. I want to get the real quick, Ryan. I do want to get the. I'll pull up the FanDuel number. What do you think the FanDuel number is, Ryan?
Are they offering it?
I would assume so.
You know,
38 to 1 on FanDuel.
Oh wow.
Okay, so maybe we have to get down on FanDuel as well. Break everyone's back with this Will Levis action.
I mean, do you think we have enough action on it?
Oh yeah. Well, I was watching Will Levis preseason of the Titans today, and I was like, shit, might not have enough Will Levis stuff going, Ryan. That's how good he looked. Laser focused. Hey, when we return, we'll be talking college football Week 1, closing out the rest of our division previews, bonus episode with a nice interview. Former Super Bowl champ chiming in. Always good to get his take. You'll have to be subscribed, of course. Smash that subscribe button. Oh, and appreciate the 5-star reviews. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Always, toss us the 5 stars. Refresh your review.
Yeah, please.
That always is fun.
Sean likes to hear nice things said about him.
I do. I like when people reach out and tell me they enjoyed the show, Ryan.
Yeah, no, I mean I do too, but you extra special like it.
Okay.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, Stack of the Money Green. He's Ryan.
Oh, I see it. A faraway place has a 50 to 1 on Will Levis.
Oh my God!
Kramer, let it ride.